Greetings, friends, and Firebirds fans, and welcome to the Fire and Ice podcast presented by Desert Willow Golf Resort. Fire and Ice, the official podcast of your Coachella Valley Firebirds of the American Hockey League. Coming to you from Palm Desert, California, a mere Max McCormick tattoo away from the Birds' home ice of Acrisure Arena. I'm your host, Judd Spicer. Along with this bi-monthly endeavor, also again have the privilege and pleasure of serving in this second season as your Firebirds Insider. Those Firebirds Insider, per all things CV Firebirds, may be found online at cvfirebirds.com. Of course, that's your host in your home from everything from roster, tickets, merchandise information. Might also suggest downloading that handy Firebirds application on your cell phone. Great way to get tickets for all your Firebirds home games at Acrisure Arena, not to mention everything else. And there's a lot going on at the Birds Barn of Acrisure here in Palm Desert. Per the presenting sponsor of this endeavor, Desert Willow Golf Resort, also right here in sunny Palm Desert, California, a mere wedge away from the Birds' home ice. Actually, 3.5 miles to be specific. Yeah, you just pop right on Cook, slide it on down Varner, make it a great putt-to-puck day. You know I love a good segue. Tee it up at Desert Willow Golf Resort, and then head over to an upcoming Birds game. There aren't that many left in the regular season, of course. Get those tee times online, by the way, for the Firecliff and or Mountain View courses, respectively. 36 awesome holes at Desert Willow. Get those online at desertwillow.com. All right, dudes, not alone in this episode of Fire and Ice. Joining me for the first time, look forward to chatting with this young man. Have a terrific rookie season with the Birds. 21-year-old Logan Morrison going to be joining me here shortly on the Fire and Ice podcast. Before we get to that chat with Logan, and I'm going to be mentioning his name here again at least once, if not a couple times, as we digress for but a moment for the Firebirds Freeze Frame segment. Take a little step back, and to put it, well, not so subtly, things are going amazing for the Firebirds. 57 games down, a mere 15 to go. Points accrued, standing points in 20 of their last 21 games, including points in 10 straight games. Their mark of 36-13, 5-3, yes, remains top in the Pacific Division as they seek that coveted bye for the first round of the playoffs. Also, their 80 cumulative standing points thus far into the year. Tops in the Western Conference. They got Milwaukee by 3. Per the pack, they got a 5-point edge over Tucson. Those 80 total points are second in the American Hockey League. There is a magic number. If you ever check out AHL.com and look at that playoff primer, they now post it daily. A lot of alliteration in those sentences, I might add. Magic number, kind of a fait accompli. It's a foregone conclusion that they're going to make the playoffs at this point, but that number is 5. As for the schedule, which we are going to get to shortly, playoff primer also includes the strength of schedule. Not an SOS for the Birds, though. Opponents' winning percentage remaining across these last 15 games of the regular season, a mere .532. That is second weakest in the Pacific Division for games remaining. Interesting schedule, strange schedule. The Birds have had just one game in an 11-day stretch. But let's call that something of the calm before the storm, getting underway this week, this Wednesday, March 20, at home against the, I think it's safe to say, fading Texas Stars. That represents the start of a stretch of 32 days, the final 32 days of the regular season, in which the Birds are going to play those last 15 games. So yeah, kind of weird. Played just that one game, the victory, shootout victory over Ontario this Friday past, and now 15 games to play in the last 32. As for the rest of that March schedule, it's light at Acrisure Arena. Fear not, a lot of home games going to be played here in the Desert Sands come April. Mention the upcoming Wednesday, March 20, 7 p.m. puck drop versus the Texas Stars. It's going to be interesting to see league leading scorer Maverick Bork visiting Acrisure Arena. Follow that up with a quick road trip. Again, kind of aberrant scheduling. It gets weird in the AHL. This Friday, March 22nd at Bakersfield, 7 p.m. start. Then the Birds come back to Palm Desert this Saturday, March 23rd. versus Texas again. That's a 6 p.m. start. Also, Military Appreciation Night. I don't know what the Texas Stars are going to do in that interim of a couple days here in the desert. I'm sure they'll figure something out. The conditions and the weather have been idyllic. Going to wrap it up in March with a back-to-back. Tuesday, March 26th, and Wednesday, the 27th. A couple of games at Calgary. Also a fading squad, I feel it's safe to say. Both of those 6 p.m. puck drop Pacific time. And then concluding this month of March on Saturday, March 30. That is an away game at Henderson. Let's take a look at the leading scorers for our Firebirds. Most recent guest of this program, forward Cole Lind. Yeah, he remains on top with 53 total points on the year thus far, coupling 13 goals with a team-high 40 assists. Those 53 points, it may be noted, are tied for 7th best in the American Hockey League, while those 40 assists for Cole are 3rd best in the AHL. Right behind him, Captain Max McCormick, 47 points on the year, matching a team-high 26 goals with 21 assists. Those 26 goals for Max, tied for 4th in the American Hockey League. Cameron Hughes, 45 points on the year to date, 17 points and 17 goals, and 28 assists. Andrew Podorowski right behind him. He's got 45 points thus far into the year, a dozen goals and 33 assists. So we're going to mention his name again, young Logan Morrison. 39 points on the year thus far, 15 goals and 24 assists. We should also add that those 39 points through 57 games for Logan are 10th among AHL rookies, and still, of course, got those 15 games to play. Right behind Logan, his fellow rookie Shane Wright. Very symmetrical line, 19 goals, 19 assists for 38 points on the season thus far. Between the pipes, Chris DeRieger, awesome record, 17-6-5. His 2.30 goals against are good for 5th in the AHL, save percentage of .915. Alistejka also having a really super solid year, 15-5-1. His goals against stand at 2.51. His save percentage, basically the same as Chris DeRieger, just a shade off, .913. All right, Firebirds friends, all that offered, all that prefaced, yeah, things are going really well. Let's keep it going via this conversation with Birds rookie Logan Morrison. All right, Firebirds friends, as preface, my guest on this episode is a 21-year-old rookie hailing from Ontario. In his last 2 years in the OHL, this is not a misprint, unless my Minnesota math is really crummy. 146 total games the last 2 years in the OHL, playoffs included, with 249 points in those 146 games. He segued that into a fine rookie season with the Birds through 57 games, 39 points thus far, with it, which is 10th, rather, among rookies with 15 games to play for the Birds. That preface to welcome Logan Morrison to the Fire and Ice podcast. Hello, Logan.
Hey, how's it going? Great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you being here, man. Along with your success, we'll start with this. I'd probably be bearing the lead if it didn't go with the fact that in the last 21 games, 20 points. 20 of the last 21 for the Firebirds, including points in 10 straight. Owning the top spot in the Pacific Division, you have for some time. Owning the top spot in the Western Conference as well. It has been a great run of hockey since we turned the calendar to 2024 for you guys, man. To what do you attribute this great streak?
Yeah, I think just everyone kind of coming together and like you said, we've been really hot lately, and I just think it kind of speaks to the depth we have on our team. It's crazy how good all four lines are, all three D pairings, and both our goalies are. I don't know if you could find a weakness, honestly. We come at you at waves, and we're a really tight group. I think that's really what's helped us a lot. Like you asked, is how tight of a group we've become, and we're playing for each other out there for sure.
Yeah, you can definitely see that when either you or one of your teammates or Coach Bilesma comes in to the post game across these last 2+ months, that there is some great camaraderie amongst you guys. Mm-hmm. There's an expectation to win basically every game you guys play, and that there's just I don't want to say a newfound level of confidence because it's been going on for some time, but that comes through in speaking with you guys in a lot of those post games. And again, we've seen a lot of wins or a lot of points in that stretch. Is there a moment, Logan, in these past couple months that you can pinpoint that you feel like you saw something or like, all right, we've kind of turned a corner. I don't know if it was a game, I
Mm.
don't know if it was a goal, or maybe it's just this has all come together. It's kind of been a coalescence of games, but you tell me.
Yeah, I think we kind of had a team meeting. Can't really pinpoint what exact date it was. I think it was sometime in November, when things weren't going that great or weren't going as well as we knew they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all kind of sat down and talked about how we just didn't have that swagger. We didn't have that confidence. So going in every game, we know we should win. And we kind of just talked about it. And it was a great conversation, I thought. And then I feel like ever since then, honestly, is kind of when we've really turned the corner of the season, and found that swagger.
Yeah. As far as you personally mentioned the statistics, and it's not just the goals, not just the points and
Mhm.
assists. There's a lot more that you contributed, and we'll get into that more specifically momentarily. But in your rookie season in the AHL, what surprised you? What is different maybe about this league than you anticipated?
I just think how hard it is, honestly. Like you hear about it, like all you hear about it in junior is the step to pro is so hard. It's a crazy step, and it's definitely been an adjustment. Everyone's older. Like I feel like in junior you could get away with way more. Like maybe if your legs weren't feeling it, you could still you could find a way to put up points. But everything just if you're feeling like that in this league, you're going to get exposed. So every shift is you need to be dialed in, and yeah, it's been great, and I feel like I'm adjusting pretty well.
Yeah, and the stats and the ice time and all the different things you're contributing bear that out. As far as your progression throughout the season, is there a facet of your own game that you feel like you needed to improve and that you have throughout the course of this year?
Yeah, I think just kind of my overall strength. Like I said before, like guys are just so much stronger and bigger, and you need to be strong to win pucks and get pucks back. So I've been really way more dialed in on keeping my strength in the season. Something I didn't think I did very good in junior. So I got to credit our strength coach Brandon Wickett for that. He's been great with me, making sure that I keep my weight up and my strength up. So yeah, that's definitely one thing I focused on.
How do you do that? How do you keep the weight up?
I think it's little things like even just a simple post game workout like after every game, and I work out we work out as a team after every game, which I don't think many teams do, which I've heard. And I think it's just he really focuses on eating too, eating enough, and it's just little things like that help.
Seen that, and this is again kind of going back to the post game pressers that you guys are still coming and going. It's not just grabbing a shower, putting on your
Yeah,
suit, getting out of there. Like dudes are hanging around for a
exactly.
while, and so it occurred to me over time that yeah, they're still working after the game. How,
Exactly.
how long how long and intensive are those post game workouts?
Yeah, it depends on our schedule for sure. Like, say we have a game the next day, like it won't be too intense at all. But yeah, they're good. They're short and simple, but they're just what you need after a game to not destroy your body, but keep your body in shape and strong to play.
Head coach Dan Bilesma has long built his reputation. We're going from Sidney Crosby to Ty Cartier for having a very innate ability, a unique
Hmm.
ability to shepherd talent, to really build and develop young talent. What has Coach
Hmm.
Bilesma done for you specifically over the course of this year, Logan?
Yeah, he's done a ton for me. We've done a ton of video sessions one on one, and definitely helping my game a lot. He really focuses on the little details with me, and especially in the defensive zone. In the offensive zone, I know he wants me to make plays and be the player I am. He doesn't take that away from me, but yeah, he's definitely helped me a ton, and we're always communicating about things, and he's been great to me.
About the rest of the coaching staff, I mentioned Jessica
Mhm.
Campbell many times on this program. Had Stu Bickle, I think he was the first guest when we debuted the Fire and Ice podcast last season. What have those two coaches contributed to the growth of your game this year?
Yeah, they're huge too. Jess especially, she's been unreal. She's been unbelievable to me too. Like tons. She works on me tons with my skating. Tons with skills. Like she's always talking to me and yeah. Also, like I said before, making sure I'm confident out there. Telling me to make plays and yeah, we've done a ton of work together this year. That's for sure.
As you and I mentioned briefly before we started the recording, an off day uh, for the Firebirds, and it's kind of the calm before the storm, man. As listeners have heard me kind of perhaps even gripe about the AHL
Mm,
schedule. It's just kind of weird, man. We've seen a few pockets. I think it was after the All-Star break, and then
yeah,
now over the course of the last week and a half, where you guys have had one game in the last 11 days, which
yeah.
is the calm before the storm, before going
Hmm.
into your last 15 games over, I think, a stretch of 32 days it is. So that's really packing it in. I'll start with the former, with the days off. I mean, how have you personally made use of what I
Yeah.
imagine has been some downtime the last week and a half?
Yeah, like you said, I think just after obviously the season is such a grind that when you kind of have that one game in 11 days, you're definitely resting your body and definitely taking advantage of those. And like I was talking about before, definitely getting some workouts in to make sure you're staying up. And we've been obviously practicing a ton. And yeah, it's definitely weird with how busy we've been to kind of have all these days off. But yeah, it's been nice, but we know that we're ready to go again.
Have you had some time for yourself during this stretch? I mean, time to, I don't
Mhm.
know, play a little golf, time to go see a movie, time to go to the living desert, see some animals. I don't know. You tell me, man, or is it just
Yeah.
hockey all the time for you?
No, definitely a healthy amount of golf. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
The whole team is huge golfers, and yeah, it's really fun, and yeah, definitely played quite a bit.
And then heading into this stretch with so much volume to cap off the rest of the regular season. Have you guys
Hmm.
discussed that as a team? Like, hey, I know we got a lot of downtime here, but like, let's get ready, fellas, because this is going to get pretty adamant. This is going to get pretty intensive here as we finish out season number two for the Firebirds.
No, I don't think there's been specific discussions about it. I think it's just kind of something that we expect out of ourselves, and we know that no matter what the schedule is, and maybe how hard it's going to be, we know we go into every game thinking and expecting we should win, and yeah, I don't think there's been really any discussions about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think I've asked you a not dissimilar question at one point in one of the pressers post game. I know
Yeah.
I've asked your coach, I've asked some of your teammates, and it's rare, if ever, that you guys will discuss like a deep look ahead to the next game or
Hmm.
the next week. It's like it's very consistent that I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just kind of your team culture that just seems all very much in the present for the Firebirds.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is all culture for sure. Like we're very one day at a time, and just focusing on the next day, not looking ahead, like you said. And I think that's really a good thing. You don't want to look too far ahead and ignore what you have in front of you. So yeah, I think it is our culture for sure.
Friends, you're tuning into the Fire and Ice podcast presented by Desert Willow Golf Resort. My guest is CB forward Logan Morrison. Again, having himself a great rookie season, according to at least yours truly, should certainly be in the conversation for the AHL Rookie of the Year because we want that award in the Desert back-to-back years. Is the Rookie of the Year something that you've thought about? Is that something you aspire toward?
No, it's definitely not something I've thought about or honestly think about. I'm just I don't want to sound cliche, but I'm just playing and just trying my best every game, to be honest with you. And yeah, at this point, I'm just trying to help the team win because I think I'm really fortunate to be on such a good team. And yeah, I think we can do something special for sure.
Well, the rookie of the year would be in the future. Let's go to the past of Logan Morrison a little bit. And here's something perhaps that you did think about. This is rather amazing, but mentioned Ty Cartier and his career leading up to the Firebirds
Mhm.
and where he is now. Much like yourself, not drafted. I mean, you were draft
Yeah,
eligible for I think three consecutive summers, and
yeah,
despite all your success, despite those crazy statistics that I just threw out at the outset of our visit, you were not
hmm
drafted. that experience for you? Was it tough to go through?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy. If I told you it was easy, I think I'd be lying to you. So definitely being passed up that many times, it definitely a little fuel under me. It's kind of another cliche, but I think it definitely did drive me to be the player I am, and I think it still kind of drives me. I think it instilled that mindset in me that nothing's ever given, and yeah, as hard as it was, I think it was honestly good for my career that I had to go through that.
Feel like it's easier to ask these questions now because you're having so much success.
Yeah,
But we see like
definitely,
the
definitely is.
like the NFL draft. They
Yeah.
always show the guys. He's sitting there in the chair and waiting for his
Mhm.
name to be called, and eventually slumping over, and then maybe
Yeah.
he leaves that room and goes to a different room because he doesn't want to be on camera. But did you have those experiences where like you're expecting a phone call or you're waiting to be drafted, you're sitting there with your family? I don't know. Paint the scene for me.
Yeah, no, I didn't go to any of the drafts, which was good. I think that was probably a good thing. If I went and didn't get picked, I think it would be a lot worse. So thankfully I was just watching on TV. But yeah, I think there were definitely a couple of times where you're talking to teams and you think, oh, they're gonna pick me here, and then you don't see your name, and it's just kind of disappointing. But yeah, I think it kind of all worked out for the best in the end. So yeah, it was definitely tough at the time, but in the present, it definitely meant to be.
Yeah, just almost a year to the day, Logan, where you signed that 3-year contract with the
Mm-hmm.
Kraken. It happened, I think, just about the middle of April of
Mm-hmm.
last year. And Ron Francis again shows us that he is pretty damn awesome at scouting and finding players. Looking at your rookie teammates, looking at the guys who were rookies last year, just success and talent all over the board. You mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that is something that does continue to motivate you. This is my
Yep.
cliche, I guess, but the chip on the shoulder, man. I don't know if there's teams, you can name them specifically. You certainly don't have to, but teams or organizations you play against that you might
Mm-hmm.
even have extra fuel. Maybe teams that talk to you before some of those drafts, and you're like, well, look at what you missed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, I don't know about specific teams, but I think it's, yeah, like you said, in general, it's just, I mean, any team could have picked me. So it's every team you're playing against. Yeah, you definitely do have that chip on your shoulder for sure when their management could have picked me and they didn't. So it's definitely extra motivation.
Dan Biles was interviewed about you, Logan. I think it was back in December for the Kraken's website, and one of the compliments among many that he bestowed upon you was that you got some junkyard dog, you got some JYD in your game. You like that description?
Yeah, I do actually. I've never heard that one before, but yeah, he's told me that before too, and yeah, that's I do like that.
I kind of feel like you're among a pound of junkyard dogs that we
Yeah,
see on the Firebirds.
yeah.
It's something I've tried to stray the compare and contrast from what we saw last year in the style of play to what we're seeing this year.
Hmm.
This year's team is a little more blue collar. It's got a little more
Hmm.
grit. It's got a little more grind. It's got a little bit more of that junkyard dog. Yourself, fellow rookie Jacob Melanson, recent
Hmm.
guest on this program. John Hayden, of course, he's been doing it with the forecheck like that for a long time. There's just it seems like a lot of grit and a lot of muscle. I like this style of play, man. I'm kind of leading up to the question of it feels like to me like it's playoff style hockey that you guys have been playing for a long time, playing it a
Hmm.
little bit tighter, playing a little more physical. We've already seen this for months. I mean, does that seem like
Hmm.
playoff style hockey to you?
Yeah, I think our team in general, yeah, just plays that style and definitely we're tight defensively. We don't give up much, and yeah, like you said, we have some guys that have some grit, and yeah, I think we've kind of got everything you need, and definitely, I think this is like by far the most competitive team I've played on in my life. Just every single day in practice, guys are battling, just want to work hard and battle and win. So it's amazing how competitive we are, and I think you kind of see that on the ice.
Also, I understand I've spoken with your teammates about some of this. See it on the golf course as well.
Yes,
Is that your experience? And if so, maybe kind of paint that out for us a little bit. I don't know if there's someone that
yeah,
you play against that's especially annoying or especially tedious.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Well,
it's you.
Yeah, like I can give you one recent one actually. We did 8 of us joined the Junior Firebirds golf tournament the other day. It's a 4-man scramble. And it was me, Winterton, Melanson, and Robertson against Lind, Hughes, Henman, and McCormick. So kind of the younger versus older guys. And I thought we were gonna fight each other by the end. It was so intense and just the chirping going on. It's just crazy how bad guys want to win. I think everything translates and you kind of see that on the ice. And yeah, it was funny.
Sounds like setting a great example for those junior Firebirds out there.
Yeah.
You should have fought. Who won, by the way?
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, we can leave that aside.
Yeah.
Get back more to the positive. Over the course of the
Yeah.
season, Logan, we've seen you more and more in different facets and different aspects of schemes and how the Firebirds play, whether it be on the power play, whether it be
Mhm.
on a lot of face-offs, whether it be in the shootouts. More and more of the course of the season, we've seen Logan Morrison in different elements of the Firebirds game. That's got to be pretty exciting to you to be on the ice so much in so many different scenarios.
Yeah, it's honestly it's been unbelievable. Obviously, I didn't know what to expect coming into my first year in pro. I didn't know where I'd be playing or kind of anything. But like you said, just being fortunate enough to be put in all those situations this year has been great, and it's something that I don't take for granted. I think it's amazing how good we are and how everyone's contributing and how bad everyone wants to win for each other. So yeah, like you said, it's awesome how I've been put in these situations, and I'm just doing my best to take advantage of them.
Two very specific scenarios that I want to draw out with you, Logan. Most
Hmm.
underrated metric and statistic, and I don't go through all of them on a daily basis, certainly like you guys do, but I feel like faceoffs are the
Hmm.
most underrated metric in all of hockey.
Yeah,
Again, using a football parallel, I guess it's like it's a possession. You're getting your
yeah,
team a possession or you're losing your
for
team
sure.
a possession. And it happens so often that it can just kind of get lost in the flow and the shuffle of the game. You, sir, are exceptional on the face-off. I like when I see you when the puck is dropped. How do you get so good at that?
Yeah, it's honestly it's not easy at all. I'd still like to improve a ton on them. Like I think I can be way better. But it's kind of just it's a timing thing. It's a wanting to win thing. It's a will to win thing. But like you said, it's so important. Like it's a very you think it's little, but it's not. Like it's like you said, it's are you starting with possession or are you chasing the puck? Like it's kind of it's a huge thing, and it's definitely something I've worked a ton on. Guys are so much better at them here than junior, like so much stronger. And definitely something I've focused on a ton. Obviously, you need to be good at faceoffs if you want to be a center in pro hockey. So yeah, I've definitely tried to work on them a ton, and I think they're really important.
Is working on it just a matter of facing off with the teammate in practice and having a puck
Yeah,
drop between you 100 times in a row?
exactly. That's pretty much what it is.
And for you, success with the face-offs, what's the biggest aspect of having success? Is it strength? Is it timing? Is it
Mhm.
speed? Is it guile? Is it knowing the guy standing across from you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mixture of everything you just said, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's there's so much that goes on in a split second of time that your mind is thinking about. It's all right, what hand is the guy I'm going against? Is he a righty? Is he a lefty? Do I have to win it to my backhand, forehand? Like there's tons of things that go through your mind before the draw and as the draw is going on. But yeah, it's everything you just said. It's strength, it's timing, and yeah, it's knowing the other guy across from you.
Is there a particular way that you like the puck dropped from the official? Some guys do a little different. You got kind of a fast guy, you got a
I
slow
mean,
guy, you got a guy.
I like when they put it more on my side, but no, there's not. I don't even know. Like most
Okay.
linesmen are the same. They're pretty good at it. I don't really notice that any
Okay.
difference really.
Do you notice things, little things, and maybe you don't want to show your hand on this? There's been questions over the years now in this episode
Mhm.
where whether coaches or players don't want to show their hand. So I'd understand that. But is there something that you look for it's like a chess match. It's a card game a
Hmm.
little bit. So
It
you're
is.
looking at your opponent. Is there something you see even before you guys kind of skate to the circle where you're like, yeah, I know I've got
Um, Not really,
him.
honestly. Like I need to see how he lines up and maybe certain things of how they put their stick down and how their hands are. I won't think I've got him, but I'll be more confident. But like you said, I don't want to get into specifics there, but yeah, I think when I see a guy kind of lean down and how he's positioned, then I can kind of process that. But definitely, yeah, definitely not before.
All right. Love getting into the game within the game, man. Another aspect, you become a staple on the Firebird shootout. You can even go back as recently as this past Friday, where you were the only one to score of the
Hmm.
6 attempts. We got the shootout win at Ontario. I watched the video of that, and let me step it back a little bit, Logan, because at the beginning of the season, I don't know how many shootouts you were not a part of, and then you were
Yeah.
injected into the shootout lineup. And we asked Dan after one of those games, and I gather that you had scored as best I can recollect. And said, how did Logan Morrison get into the shootout rotation? And he said he showed me something in practice. I saw something he was doing in practice that gave me the confidence that he needed to be part of the top three.
Hmm.
Uh, I watched I wasn't at Ontario, but I watched the replay. That was an interesting one, man. It was a wide berth style.
Yeah.
Um, do you? And I know, hey, guys study tape. You know, some goalies like to study a lot of tape on that. Some goalie coaches. Do you like to go with a similar style each time? I feel like I've seen a couple different things from you in the shootouts, but I don't know. You tell me.
No, honestly, all four attempts this year, I've tried the same thing,
Okay.
and luckily they've all gone in. It's kind of a move. It's a move that I've kind of I learned recently, and don't even know how I learned it. Just something I picked up, and yeah, it's kind of been my go-to. And I don't. I think I might have to start thinking of new ones if goalies are fine figuring this one out. But yeah, I think that's kind of what you need in a shootout is kind of a move that you trust and have confidence in, and just do it because I think that's your best bet of scoring. So yeah, we'll see how long it lasts, and um, yeah, I mean they don't matter in playoffs, so it doesn't. It's not a huge deal, but it's great to get the win for your team in the regular season.
Absolutely. Well, there could be a penalty shot.
Yeah, you're right.
I guess in the playoff.
Yeah.
And so maybe I was overthinking it by seeing deviations in some of those attempts. As far as what you like to do with the wide berth and really
Mhm.
use that much ice with kind of a
Yeah.
circumference style approach. Why do you like that? Why does that feel comfortable for you?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the angle I'm coming in on. I like, and the angle the goalie has to kind of adjust to. And I think I come in kind of slow, and I think that kind of like pisses the goalie off a bit. Like they have to stay in their stance for a while, and they get a little antsy. And yeah, I think just kind of like the way I come in, they have to really respect the angle I'm coming. And yeah, I just like what net I see from that side.
Couple more for you today. Logan Morrison on the Fire and Ice podcast. Both of these final questions, by the way, related to your teammate Andrew Podorowski. The Wednesday night game against the Texas Stars, that's going to be prefaced by Potsy's Puppy Palooza. That's taking place
All right.
on the plaza from 5:30 to 7. Of course, you'll be doing other things from 5:30 to
Mhm.
7 before the game against Texas. I don't know. Might you still adopt a puppy, or do you already have a dog?
I do not. I don't know if I could trust myself taking care of a dog right now. I definitely want to get one, but I think that's gonna have to wait a few years. But no, I do not have a dog right now.
Okay. I had to find a way to inject the Potsy's Puppy Palooza because I just saw that posted by the
Yeah,
Firebirds a few hours
yeah, that's
ago. All
great.
right, no dog yet for Logan Morrison. However,
No.
if you're not ready for a dog, then this next question is going to seem like doubly stupid. But if you ever adopted Andrew Podorowski's kid, you realize his name would be Morrison Morrison.
I
That's
did.
an
I've heard about that. I
okay.
remember when I came here last year at the playoffs to join the team, and I told them my nickname's Mo, and then Potsy told me it can't be because his son's name's, they call him Mo, so I had to figure something. But lucky they let me keep it. But yeah, that would be something for sure.
We'll see what happens. Of course, I think his kid is named after Jim Morrison, not a Canadian, by the way.
No, I'm not. I'm not sure, honestly.
Logan, great chatting with you, man. So appreciative of your time. Really enjoyed watching all your success and all your progression over the course of this rookie season. Just as we'll look forward to these last 15 games, the regular season, and getting back into the playoffs, man. Thank you again so much for your time. Continued success.
Thanks, Judd. Really appreciate you having me.
All right, Firebirds flock. It's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Fire and Ice podcast presented by Desert Willow Golf Resort. So appreciative of your time, your interest, your ears, your ongoing support of this endeavor. Additional appreciation, of course, goes to this episode's guest, rookie forward Logan Morrison. While further gratitude, I might add, of course, per usual, goes to the sponsor of this program, Desert Willow Golf Resort, right here in sunny Palm Desert, California, home to the Mountain View, the Firecliff courses. And really, friends, if you haven't been there yet, you got to get over to Desert Willow Golf Resort, one of the finest public golf facilities, not just here in SoCal, but on the entire West Coast. When you're making those tee times online at desertwillow.com, you're also going to want to take a peek and poke at the on-site and awesome Palm Desert Golf Academy. Great way to get some swing tips, instruction, tutelage. They got all manner of daily clinics or upwards of 3-day signature golf schools. Again, check it all out at desertwillow.com. Get ready, buckle up, ready those wings, friends, for what's going to be a fun and a furious finish to the Birds' regular season. Again, 15 games in these last 32 days. The boys are playing so well of late. It's going to be fun to watch this regular season finish, and let's do it together. I'll see you as we return to Acrisure Arena on this Wednesday, March 20th, 7 p.m. puck drop against Texas before we play the Texas Stars yet again this Saturday, March 23rd. That's a 6 p.m. start. Don't forget, it is Military Appreciation Night. Hope to see you both times out at the Birds Barn. Until then, thanks again for tuning in, friends, and remember, as always, one valley, one team, rising together.